a dream that lasts.
Welcome to the Startup Venture Lab podcast, the place where ambitious entrepreneurs turn ideas into profitable online businesses. Whether you're launching your first startup, scaling to six figures, or looking for game-changing growth hacks, you're in the right place. Join us as we break down proven strategies, expert insights, and real-world success stories so you can build, grow, and dominate in the new digital world. Ready to take action? Let's dive in with our host and tech entrepreneur, J. Todd Jennings. Over to you, JT.
Welcome to the Startup Venture Lab podcast. This is the first episode in our four-part series, LinkedIn Leads Lab. I am JT, and I am joined today by LinkedIn guru Eric Alexander. Today we are diving into something, pretty essential for any business looking to grow. What most businesses miss about LinkedIn lead generation.
Thanks for having me on today, JT. Yeah, it's a big one. You know, most people think of LinkedIn and they picture networking, maybe job hunting.
Sure, keeping up with old colleagues.
Exactly. But it's really shifted.
Yeah,
Fundamentally, it's this incredibly powerful engine now, specifically for B2B marketing.
and that's the key point, isn't it? We've seen that so many businesses are kind of overlooking this huge potential, just leaving opportunity on the table.
They really are.
So our mission today is to, cut through the noise, give you a clear picture of why LinkedIn ads are so dominant for B2B.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe more importantly, how you can actually use them the right way to get those high quality leads you're looking for.
Okay, let's unpack that. First off, the numbers, they really speak for themselves. If you look at where B2B leads come from on social media,
Yeah,
LinkedIn accounts for like an astonishing 80%.
80%. Wow.
80. Think about that.
Wow.
4 out every 5 B2B social leads, they're starting right there on LinkedIn. It's not just a platform.
Hmm.
It's the platform in this professional marketing world.
80%. Okay. That statistic alone should make anyone focused on B2B growth sit up and pay attention. But it's not just about the sheer number of users, right? I mean, LinkedIn has over 1 billion members now.
It's huge. But no, it's not just volume. It's who those users are and crucially why they're even on the platform in the first place.
Right?
Unlike, other social sites where it's about personal life, vacation pics, entertainment, people on LinkedIn, they're generally in what you could call a business mindset zone.
Okay.
They're actively looking for industry insights, professional connections, and often solutions to challenges they're facing at work.
So the context is totally different.
Exactly. And that context makes it incredibly fertile ground for B2B messages. Your ad isn't seen as some annoying interruption.
Hmm.
It's seen as potentially relevant information that might actually help them solve a problem.
You're catching them when they're already thinking about work issues.
Yeah,
And a massive part of that is the concentration of actual decision makers, I gather.
oh, it's completely unmatched. We're talking over 61 million active decision makers.
61 million.
Active ones. C-suite executives, directors, managers, the very people who directly influence or, actually sign off on purchasing decisions.
So your outreach isn't just shouting into the void.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's potential direct conversations with the people who hold the purse strings.
That kind of access is just incredibly powerful. And then there's also this concept you mentioned, like the trust transfer. What's that about?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Simply by advertising professionally on LinkedIn, your business kind of borrows credibility from the platform's own professional reputation.
Okay.
So when you share valuable content, thought leadership, expertise through your ads, you're not just promoting, you're actively building your brand's authority. And you're leveraging that inherent trust people already place in LinkedIn. It gives your message extra weight.
So we've established LinkedIn as the place to be, the right audience, the right mindset, built in trust. But the real kind of secret sauce for making it work seems to be the targeting. It sounds miles ahead for B2B.
It really is. What makes it so powerful is that it's built on first-party data.
Meaning?
meaning data that users themselves provide and keep updated on their profiles, their job title, their company, skills, work history.
Ah, not just guessing based on browsing habits.
Exactly. This isn't inferred data. It's arguably the world's most accurate, most current database of professional information
Laughs.
because the professionals themselves maintain it.
And that self reported data allows for incredible precision, I imagine.
Unbelievable precision. You can target based on really specific things like job function, industry, company size, seniority level, even down to professional relationships or where they sit in an organization's hierarchy.
Wow. Okay.
This is why account-based marketing, ABM, works so well here.
Yeah.
You can literally upload a list of your target companies by name.
Your dream clients?
Precisely. And then target the key decision makers within those specific companies. You're shifting from maybe broad strokes marketing to highly focused outreach on the accounts you want most.
And technology is making this even smarter. You mentioned AI optimization.
Yeah, this is where things get really advanced. AI can analyze campaign data constantly and identify which audience segments are most likely to convert, boosting performance significantly, sometimes up to 30%. It does this in real time.
Automatically finding the best pockets within your audience.
Exactly. And then you have matched audiences. This lets you bring your own data to the party.
Like what kind of data?
Your website visitors, your email contact lists, those target company lists for ABM. You upload that, and LinkedIn connects it with its professional data. It's incredibly powerful for retargeting people who already know you or building those hyper-specific ABM campaigns.
So you layer your knowledge on top of LinkedIn's unique professional insights. How granular can this targeting actually get? Can you give an example?
Sure, imagine you sell, say, cloud security solutions. You could target people in IT or information security
Okay.
who are at the director level or higher,
Senior people.
right, in companies with maybe over 1,000 employees.
Mm-hmm.
But then you layer on more. You add people who list specific skills, like cloud or security dash,
Mm-hmm.
or belong to a relevant professional groups on LinkedIn, or maybe they've recently engaged with content about security topics.
So you're not just finding someone in IT?
Number, you're finding the right person in IT dash,
Yeah.
at the right kind of company who's already shown interest in the very area you operate in. Super relevant.
That precision is incredible. But I guess you need to be careful not to make the audience too small, right? You still need enough people to run a campaign effectively.
That's a critical balance.
Yeah.
Precision is vital, but you need sufficient audience size for the platform's algorithms to work efficiently and actually deliver your ads. A good rule of thumb generally is aiming for at least 50,000 people for most campaigns. It's about finding that sweet spot, what you might call effective reach, balancing specificity with enough scale to get results.
And how do you know if your targeting is actually working? What metrics should you really focus on?
Well, you need to look beyond just clicks. You need metrics that show lead quality and business potential. So yes, click-through rate, CPR, tells you if the ad's relevant.
Sure.
Cost per lead, CPL, shows efficiency. But then things like lead score, if you have that integrated, start telling you about quality. And maybe most critically, the sales qualification rate.
How many leads actually turn into real opportunities for the sales team?
Exactly. That's the bottom line. And testing is absolutely key here. Constantly testing different targeting combinations against these metrics.
So it's definitely not a set it and forget it kind of thing. Your targeting needs to evolve.
Oh, constantly. The market shifts, your products change, customer behavior changes, LinkedIn itself updates its features. Your targeting strategy has to be flexible and adaptive to stay effective.
All right. So you've zeroed in on your perfect audience. The next piece is getting your message across effectively. LinkedIn has different ad formats, right? Designed for different stages.
That's right. You need to think about that B2B buyer's journey. Someone goes from just becoming aware of a problem or a potential solution to actively researching options to finally making a decision. Different ad formats are suited for different points along that path.
Okay. Like sponsored content, the stuff that shows up in the main feed.
Exactly. Sponsored content looks and feels pretty native, like a regular post, just marked promoted. It's really excellent for building brand awareness and sharing valuable thought leadership.
Things like white papers or reports.
White papers, industry reports, insightful case studies, blog posts, things that provide value. Because it blends into the professional feed, it feels less like a disruptive ad and more like potentially useful content. Great for the top of the funnel.
Okay. And then there's sponsored in-mail direct messages.
Right. This is for more direct personal outreach. You can send a message straight into a prospect's LinkedIn inbox.
Feels more one-to-one.
It does. It's best for more personal engagement. Maybe inviting someone to a very targeted webinar or sharing quite specific detailed information relevant just to them. Often used a bit later in the journey, closer to the conversion point.
So feed ads for broader value, direct messages for a closer, more targeted connection. What about dynamic ads?
Dynamic ads are all about personalization, but done at scale. They automatically pull details from the viewer's LinkedIn profile.
Like their name or company?
Yeah, maybe their profile picture, their company name, job, title, and integrates it right into the ad creative.
Oh, interesting.
It makes the ad feel incredibly tailored to that specific person, which, as you can imagine, dramatically increases relevance and engagement, so you can see how they fit together. Sponsored content builds awareness. InMail allows for personal conversation. Dynamic ads add that layer of hyper-personalization, all part of the LinkedIn toolkit.
Using those different formats strategically seems key. And connecting all this back to your other marketing tools like your CRM, that sounds pretty vital too.
Oh, absolutely crucial for B2B efficiency. You need seamless integration connecting LinkedIn lead gen forms and your campaigns directly with your CRM or marketing automation platform. That means lead capture, scoring, routing to sales. It can all be automated in real time
Takes the manual work out.
and enables things like automated nurture sequences. Plus, you can track those leads across multiple touch points, not just on LinkedIn. Makes the whole process way more streamlined and effective.
Okay, we've got the audience dialed in. We understand the formats. Now let's talk about the ads themselves. How do you actually craft campaigns that don't just get eyeballs, but actually convert prospects into leads?
Right. This is where the creative strategy really matters. And LinkedIn ad creative needs a certain professional sophistication and visual impact, of course.
Not like ads on more casual platforms.
Definitely not. B2B decision makers, they expect polish, they expect relevance. Overly casual or flashy designs you might use elsewhere probably won't land well here.
So, what are some key design principles to keep in mind?
Well, layout is important. It needs to guide the viewer's eye, often using a clear primary visual, maybe a product shot, a photo of an expert, or a compelling data chart.
Something eye catching but relevant?
Exactly. Color psychology matters too.
Hmm.
Professional palettes, blues, often convey trust work well, using contrasting colors strategically for your calls to action. So they pop. Typography needs to be super clear and readable,
Especially on mobile.
especially mobile. Yeah. Sensory fonts are usually a good bet.
Hmm.
Headlines need to look professional and convey authority, not be overly decorative.
And you keep mentioning mobile. It seems absolutely critical for LinkedIn.
It really is. You just can't ignore it.
Yeah.
A huge chunk of executives and decision makers check LinkedIn on their phones. Your creative has to work well on that small screen. That means potentially larger text, simpler layouts, maybe even designing mobile first.
And balancing the visual element with the text, the copy.
They absolutely have to work together, complement each other. The visual grabs attention, but the headline and the copy need to immediately deliver the value proposition. There's actually a pretty proven headline framework that works well in B2B.
Oh, yeah. Do tell.
It's quite simple but effective.
Right?
You start with a specific pain point and your target audience experiences.
Okay.
Then you introduce your unique solution.
Got it.
And finally, state a clear, measurable benefit they'll get.
Pain, solution, benefit. Can you give an example?
Sure, something like reduce sales cycles by 40% with AI-powered lead scoring, or maybe turn complex data into actionable insights. See how 500 plus companies succeed. It hits the problem directly and promises a tangible result.
That structure is really clear and compelling. Makes sense. What about the main ad copy? The body text?
Want to structure that to acknowledge how B2B buying works.
Yeah,
Lead with the core value proposition, then support it with some evidence, maybe data points, research findings.
yeah.
And then reinforce it with social proof if you can, client logos, short testimonials. It shows you understand they need substance, not just claims.
Makes sense. Beyond the ad creative itself, the offer is obviously critical. What you're actually asking them to do and what they get in return.
Hugely important. Developing your offer is a strategic piece. The offer needs to bridge that gap between initial interest and deeper engagement. It has to provide real immediate value. Remember, B2B decision makers are making a sophisticated exchange.
Their professional information
For valuable insights or solutions from you. It's not just a casual download, you need what's sometimes called a value ladder of offers.
a value ladder. Explain that.
It's basically a progression of offers.
Yeah,
You might start with lower commitment things like thought leadership content reports, guides for people early in their journey.
top of funnel stuff.
Exactly. Then, as they show more interest, maybe engaging with that content, you move them to more strategic resources. Think ROI calculators, detailed case studies.
More involved, higher value.
Right. And finally, for those showing real buying signals, you offer more personalized engagement, like a free assessment, a custom demo, or a consultation. The key is delivering tangible value at every step, building trust along the way.
And tailoring the type of offer to the specific person or their role.
Oh, absolutely crucial for relevance. A C-level executive might be interested in the high-level industry report.
Right.
A technical manager might want a deep dive implementation guide. Someone in finance, they'll want an ROI calculator. Legal might need a compliance white paper. Matching the offer ensures it actually speaks to their specific professional needs and challenges.
And how should you position these offers? Is it about urgency, like in consumer marketing?
Generally, no. B2B decisions are more strategic, less impulsive. So instead of limited time offer, you focus on the business value, the potential ROI. Position the offer as a solution to their specific challenges, demonstrating a clear path to achieving tangible business outcomes by engaging with you.
Okay, so we've got killer, creative, compelling offers matched to the audience. How do you actually manage all these campaigns effectively day to day?
It really requires a systematic approach. First, structure your campaigns logically, aligning them with your core business objectives. Are you aiming for brand awareness, lead generation, specific ABM targets?
Different goals need different structure.
Exactly. Budget management needs to be smart too. Allocate your budget strategically across campaigns, but be ready to shift funds based on performance. Use metrics like cost per lead or cost per qualified lead to guide where the money goes. Automated budget optimization tools with LinkedIn can help a lot here.
And testing. I assume testing is vital.
Non-negotiable. Absolutely essential. You have to systematically test the high-impact elements, variations of your ad creative, different visuals, headlines, copy, calls to action.
A slash B testing.
/B testing, multivariate testing. Test different targeting combinations. Test different offers against each other. Even test your landing pages if you're driving traffic off LinkedIn. You need a testing framework. Document your results. Learn what resonates.
And constantly optimizing based on what you learn.
Continuously. Monitor your key metrics closely. Look at the macro level things like overall cost per lead and return on ad spend, ROAS.
Yeah.
But also dig into the micrometrics, CTR, engagement rates, form completion rates, if you're using lead gen forms.
Okay.
As you get more advanced, you can layer in strategies like day parting, only showing ads during peak professional hours, or adjusting bids based on geographic location, geo-bidding, or optimizing for specific devices. Every optimization effort should directly tie back to that ultimate business goal, generating high-quality, qualified leads that eventually turn into revenue.
Speaking of converting leads, let's really dive into LinkedIn lead gen forms. You mentioned them, and they apparently have a really impressive conversion rate.
They really do. On average, we see LinkedIn lead gen forms converting around 13%. That's often significantly higher than directing someone to a standard landing page form off platform.
Why is that? Why are they so much more effective?
Well, they're designed specifically for the LinkedIn environment. They pre-fill with the user's profile data, name, email, company title.
Reduces friction.
Massively reduces friction. Plus, it all happens right there within the LinkedIn app or site.
Hmm.
They don't have to leave. It makes capturing and qualifying leads much smoother and more user-friendly in that professional context.
Is there a deeper psychological aspect too?
I think so. There's a sort of sophisticated psychology of information exchange in B2B. When a professional decides to fill out a form on LinkedIn, they understand they're sharing their valuable career information.
It's not like giving an email for a coupon.
Exactly. They're not just expecting a free checklist. They often see it as initiating a potential business relationship. So they expect significant value and a highly professional interaction in return. It's almost like professional reciprocity. Trust becomes absolutely pivotal.
Which means the form itself needs to project that trust and professionalism.
100%. The design matters. It needs a crystal clear value proposition. Why should they fill this out? What will they get? You need transparent data usage policies. Professional aesthetics matter. The flow needs to be logical, and it absolutely has to respect their time. It should feel like a serious business communication, not just a casual data grab.
And mobile comes up again here, I bet.
Critically important, yes. Remember, over half of LinkedIn users are on mobile, so your lead gen forms absolutely need a mobile-first design mindset.
Meaning?
Meaning things like touch-optimized input fields that are easy to tap, smart sizing so text isn't tiny, using contextual keyboards, bringing up the number pad for phone numbers, for example, clear error handling if they miss something, and minimizing scrolling as much as possible. It has to be a smooth, easy, professional experience on a phone screen.
Now, the big question, how do you get the qualifying data you need without making the form ridiculously long and scaring people off? That feels like a tricky balance.
It's the key challenge with forms. You need enough data to qualify the lead, but every single field you add potentially decreases your completion rate. It's a known drop-off.
Is there data on which fields cause the biggest drop?
Yeah, there's general data. Asking for name and email usually has minimal impact, maybe a 1% drop per field. But asking for company or job title might cause a 3% drop each. Industry or company size, maybe 5%. And asking for sensitive things like budget or purchase timeline early on, that could cause an 8% drop or more per field.
Wow, those add up quickly.
They do. So you have to be really strategic. What information do you absolutely need right now to qualify this lead for the next step? Find that minimum viable field set.
So maybe don't ask for everything all at once.
Exactly. Progressive profiling is a really smart strategy here. Instead of hitting them with a 10-field form on the first interaction, you gather data gradually over multiple touch points. Maybe the first form just asks for name, email, company. Then if they download a second piece of content, you ask for job title and industry. You build the profile over time as you build the relationship and trust. This can lead to significantly higher overall completion rates, maybe 20 to 30% higher long term.
That makes a lot of sense. Build the data profile as you build the relationship and ensuring that data actually gets where it needs to go smoothly.
Integration again. Non-negotiable for lead gen forms. You need that data flowing seamlessly and in real time from LinkedIn into your CRM or marketing automation platform.
Why real time?
For immediate lead routing to the right salesperson, for enrolling them instantly into the correct automated nurture sequence, for advanced lead scoring based on the new data, for tracking them across platforms. Without that real-time flow, leads go cold, opportunities are missed. It's the operational backbone.
And how do you optimize the forms themselves beyond just the initial field selection?
It requires systematic testing, just like your ads. But your metrics here need to go deeper than just the form completion rate.
Okay.
You need to track the quality of the leads coming from different form variations. What's their lead score? How many actually become sales qualified leads? Sequels. How much pipeline value do these forms contribute? Ultimately, what's the revenue impact?
So testing things like,
Testing different field configurations, absolutely. Testing how you phrase the value proposition right there on the form.
wow.
Testing the layout and flow, testing the mobile experience specifically, even testing the integration pathways. And data quality is crucial too. Implementing validation rules, standardizing formats, checking for duplicates. It's an ongoing optimization process, especially as LinkedIn keeps adding new features. Maybe using AI in forms down the line.
Okay, fantastic. So you've used these optimized forms, you've captured a high quality lead. What's the absolutely critical next step? Lead nurturing.
Yes. And this honestly is where a lot of businesses still drop the ball. The goal isn't just collecting contacts in a database.
Yeah.
It's about transforming those initial connections into genuinely valuable, hopefully revenue-generating partnerships. Nurturing, especially in a B2B context on LinkedIn, is about carefully cultivating a professional relationship.
Hmm.
Every interaction, every piece of content you share shapes their perception of your expertise and your company.
And you have to keep remembering that the B2B buying cycle is fundamentally different, isn't it? Longer, more complex.
Completely different from a quick consumer purchase. B2B decisions often involve multiple stakeholders across different departments.
Finance, IT, legal, the actual users.
Exactly. And the whole process can easily take months, sometimes even quarters or longer for big deals. Your nurturing strategy must support this extended complex reality. That means providing different kinds of value and information to different stakeholders at different times. Maybe technical specs for the engineers, ROI projections for finance, use cases for the line of business managers, all coordinated over that long decision window.
And using LinkedIn's environment for this nurturing, does that help maintain credibility?
I believe it does, because the interactions are happening within that established professional network. It helps reinforce trust and credibility. You're not just emailing them out of the blue, you're building what you could call value-based nurture paths, right there on the platform where they engage professionally. Sequences designed to consistently deliver insights, showcase expertise, and cement your authority on topics relevant to their role in industry.
How do you find the right balance between using automation for efficiency and adding that necessary personalization for B2B nurturing?
Ah, that is the sweet spot you need to find. And the data shows the company's getting this balance right. Using automation for scale and consistency, but layering in smart personalization tailored to the professional context sees significantly better outcomes.
Like what kind of outcomes?
We're talking potentially 36% higher lead quality and maybe 24% better conversion rates down the funnel. Automation does the heavy lifting, sending the right message at the right time based on triggers. But personalization adds that crucial human understanding needed for building real B2B relationships.
So, what are the core principles of a good B2B nurture sequence? Maybe using LinkedIn tools.
Generally, you want to start with educational content. Build rapport, establish yourself as a helpful resource, a thought leader.
No hard selling up front.
Definitely not. As they engage more, maybe clicking links or downloading content, you gradually move to more solution-specific information that addresses their likely challenges. Then you weave in social proof case studies, testimonials to build confidence and reduce perceived risk. And importantly, you offer clear logical paths for direct engagement, like requesting a demo or scheduling a call. But only when their behavior indicates they might be ready for that step.
And always keeping that long buying time frame in mind.
Absolutely critical. Since B2B cycles are lengthy, your nurturing needs to maintain engagement and provide value potentially over several months, without becoming annoying or overly aggressive. It's about respecting those professional boundaries while consistently staying top of mind with relevant, helpful insights. And advanced personalization in nurturing, it goes way beyond just inserting first name, right?
I'd imagine so.
Yeah, it's about what's called contextual personalization. This means using both their static professional attributes, their industry, job role, company size, maybe even geography, and their dynamic behavioral signals from LinkedIn.
Behavioral signals like,
What specific content has they engaged with? How frequently do they interact? What topics seem to interest them most based on clicks or downloads? Combining these allows you to deliver content that is precisely relevant not just to their professional world in general, but also to where they likely are in their buying journey right now.
so you might send content about new compliance regulations to someone you know is in a legal role,
Exactly.
or a technical deep dive comparison to an IT architect who clicked on a competitor comparison link earlier.
Precisely. It's about that level of relevance. And even timing can matter. Analyzing LinkedIn usage patterns for your specific audience might reveal optimal times to deliver certain types of messages. Maybe technical content performs best during core morning work hours, while strategic, big picture, or ROI content gets more attention in the afternoon. You also need to consciously map your content assets to the different stages of their decision process, thought leadership, really. Detailed solution info as interest deepens, validation materials like case studies or ROI analysis when they get closer to making a choice.
Okay, this is getting sophisticated.
Yeah,
How do you actually measure the true success of all this complex nurturing effort? It can't just be open rates, can it?
no, laughs, definitely not just vanity metrics. You need a really robust measurement framework that ties directly back to tangible business impact. Yes, you track response metrics, like engagement rates, form completions, maybe message replies.
Yeah.
But the real focus has to be on metrics like lead quality scores. Are these nurtured leads better? How many are progressing to become sales qualified leads equals? What's the actual pipeline contribution in dollar terms coming from these nurtured leads? And ultimately, what revenue can be attributed back to them? And what's their potential customer lifetime value? CLTV. That's how you prove the ROI of nurturing.
And figuring out which specific nurture touch points actually made a difference in closing a deal. That sounds tricky.
It can be, but that's where multi-touch attribution modeling becomes essential. It helps you understand the whole sequence of interactions, from that very first LinkedIn ad click through all the subsequent nurture emails, content downloads, maybe even sales calls that contributed to a final conversion.
So you see the whole journey.
You try to map the whole journey. Track the first touch that brought them in, but also identify the critical touch points later on that really move the needle. And this analysis needs to be ongoing. Maybe weekly reviews of key trends, monthly deep dives into patterns, and definitely quarterly alignment meetings with your sales team to make sure your nurturing is producing leads they find valuable and to get their crucial feedback.
Wow. Okay. We have covered an immense amount of ground today. From really understanding why LinkedIn is such a powerhouse for B2B,
Mm-hmm.
through the incredible precision of its targeting, using the different ad formats strategically, crafting creative and offers that resonate, absolutely mastering lead capture with those lead gen forms, and finally building out these sophisticated long term nurturing paths.
It is definitely a comprehensive picture, isn't it? But honestly, mastering these interconnected pieces is becoming fundamental for building sustainable, predictable B2B growth. We see companies that really get this right reporting significant jumps in their marketing efficiency. Some see over a 40% improvement in how effectively their marketing budget translates into qualified leads and ultimately revenue. It's about working smarter, leveraging the platform's strengths.
And it feels like there's a fundamental mindset shift involved too. It's moving beyond just harvesting leads, isn't it? More towards relationship building.
That's exactly it. Success on LinkedIn, true success, really transcends just the technical skills of campaign setup and bidding. It requires embracing the often nuanced, long-term relationships that truly drive B2B commerce. Businesses that adopt this relationship-first mindset, focusing on delivering value and building trust with every interaction, they consistently see higher engagement, better lead quality. It creates this positive cycle, what you might call relationship marketing momentum.
Like a self reinforcing loop, delivering value builds authority, which attracts more prospects, who you then deliver value to.
Precisely. And using those integrated formats we discussed earlier really helps orchestrate that. Sponsored content for awareness and value, message ads for that personal touch, dynamic ads for tailored relevance, lead gene forms for seamless information exchange. They all work together to guide the prospect through a cohesive value-driven journey.
It sounds like a really orchestrated approach.
It is. Think of it as creating a professional value stream. There are great examples out there, like a market-leading software company that perfectly coordinated touchpoints. They use thought leadership via sponsored content, connected prospects with internal experts via message ads, use dynamic ads to show personalized ROI potential, and captured qualified interest with custom lead gene forms.
And the results?
Dramatic. Something like a 45% increase in qualified opportunities entering their pipeline, and they managed to reduce their average sales cycle length by nearly 30%. That's the power of integrating the formats and strategy effectively.
Achieving that level of sophistication consistently, that probably requires some dedicated internal focus and expertise, right?
It generally does, yes. Many of the most successful companies in this space build what's called an internal center of excellence, or a COE, specifically for their LinkedIn marketing efforts.
Center of excellence. So, dash.
Yeah, it essentially provides the structure, the processes, the knowledge sharing needed for consistent high performance and continuous improvement. It acts as a central hub for governance, setting standards, documentation, training for the teams involved, and importantly, developing and maintaining those sophisticated measurement frameworks we talked about. Businesses with a well-run COE almost always see better overall performance and ROI from LinkedIn over time.
What kind of skills or expertise does a COE like that typically need?
It's usually a blend. You definitely need specialists who deeply understand the nuts and bolts of the LinkedIn ads platform itself. You need creative teams, writers, designers who can develop that compelling B2B messaging and visuals. You need sharp data analysts who can measure impact far beyond clicks and leads, who understand attribution modeling. And you often need integration experts who can keep the tech stack, LinkedIn, CRM, marketing automation, all talking to each other seamlessly.
Looking towards the future now, this whole world of professional marketing, especially digital, it's always evolving. AI and machine learning seem like they're going to be huge drivers of change on platforms like LinkedIn, too.
Oh, absolutely. Some projections suggest that AI-driven targeting enhancements alone could improve lead quality by another 40% or more in the coming years. So future-proofing your strategy really means staying proactive. It means embracing and mastering these emerging technologies.
Like what specifically?
Leveraging AI and machine learning, not just for targeting, but for ad optimization, for predictive analytics, developing more interactive content formats, ensuring seamless cross-platform integration becomes even smoother.
And managing the data flow behind all that must be critical.
Data orchestration becomes paramount. You need to build an intelligent infrastructure that can manage the complex flow of data from LinkedIn engagement to your CRM, maybe to sales enablement tools, and back again, enabling automation, while also surfacing the strategic insights needed to make smart decisions. Building capabilities in AI-driven personalization, predictive lead scoring, automated campaign optimization, that's where the focus needs to be.
But then this feels like a theme we've hit on throughout our conversation. The technology is ultimately a tool to serve a bigger purpose, isn't it?
That's exactly right. The most successful B2B lead generation, even as technology gets more sophisticated, will always be the approach that balances that technology With genuine human insight and connection, technology should enhance and scale our ability to build human connections. It doesn't and shouldn't replace the fundamental need for building trusted professional relationships, especially in B2Bs.
So, this deep dive has really shown, I think, that LinkedIn is so much more than just a place to post your resume online. It's this incredibly dynamic, powerful ecosystem for building truly valuable B2B relationships if you approach it strategically.
That's the key. Through that precise targeting, the compelling creative, the efficient lead capture, and perhaps most importantly, that dedicated value-driven nurturing over time.
By understanding and actively leveraging these elements, particularly the ones that, as we discussed, most businesses tend to miss, you can really move beyond just collecting a list of names. You can build a sustainable, high quality pipeline that genuinely drives business growth and revenue.
Couldn't agree more. It's about quality over just quantity, and relationships over just transactions.
So, as a final thought for everyone listening today, as you reflect on everything we've covered, the targeting, the creative, the forms, the nurturing, consider this. How could shifting your primary focus on LinkedIn, moving from merely acquiring contact information to actively cultivating genuine professional relationships, fundamentally transform your business's growth trajectory? What's maybe one concrete step, however small, you could take this week to start making that shift? Thanks for listening. If you missed any of the previous Startup Venture Lab episodes, you can find us on both Spotify and YouTube. Don't forget, if you are an aspiring entrepreneur looking to start an online business or already have a business you are looking to grow, check out the Startup Venture Lab free community online at startupventurelab.com. Till we meet up again, JT out.
This podcast is brought to you by the Startup Venture Lab. If you're interested in starting an online business, have an idea, or are looking to grow your business, check out our exclusive member community online at startupventurelab.com.